Previously, in the solo leveling, Jin-woo got the warning from Jinchul that S-rank hunter named Dong-su, Dong-suk's brother, will target him, so he should run out of the country to hide, but instead of hiding from Dong-su, Jin-woo decided to get even stronger, and just in time, Jin-ho purchased the right of all the C-rank gates, and to hide Jin-woo's powers. He gathered the most useless team just to get the clearance to raid the C-rank gate from Hunter HQ, so the plan was to let all those useless hunters waits outside while Jin-woo and Jin-ho goes to raid the gate alone. Jin-woo was leveling up like crazy from all of his hunts, but he got a job-changing quest after he crossed level 40, being confused from it. He comes out of the dungeon, but there, a scout from the White Tigers Guild saw something was off with all the C-rank gates, so he did a bit of scoping and realized that Jin-woo is powerful, and raids the C-rank gate alone, so he tried to scout Jin-woo for White Tiger Guild, but Jin-woo declined his offer, and warned him not to tell anyone about his powers, after which he packed his stuff and moved out to accept the job-changing quest he got. He goes far away from public area considering how he runs into dungeon quite often, so he wanted to make sure he won't harm anyone nearby, so he accepted the quest and a large burst of energy opened a black hole type of gate, and Jin-woo prepared himself to enter where Igris was waiting. Then after entering, Jin-woo was surprised that this dungeon was normal than the others. But he can't use healing potion or recovery spell as a challenge, plus he can't exit the dungeon until he clears it out. And right there a knight came in walking slowly. Jin-woo was ready and hits it first. But there was no damage at all, his power stroke and attack just couldn't penetrate his armor, but there he remembered that armored snake fight, so Jin-woo goes the old school way and rips off that knight's soldiers, and again many other headache came out, and as usual, Jin-woo was ripping them up left and right, and counters an assassin-type soldiers, but to add more, a mage also showed up. The difficulties were rising up by a lot. But he knew the weakness and strength of the others. He knew he could take on knight and assassin, so the only problem is mage. He needed a counter against magic, which he hadn't invested to raise in his stats, so skill is all he could use, and prolonging the fight means his fatigue will continue to rise, so he needs to end it soon. Then, after a hard battle he took out everyone, which gives him a gear as a drop item. He quickly equipped the gear and his defense went up a little. It could even turn invisible, and plus, it has no movement restrictions. Perfect gear Jin-woo got. So after resting, his fatigue has been recovered, so Jin-woo decided to go to the next level. Then moving onwards, he got near the largest door which leads to boss room. And just as Jin-woo tried to open it, a strong gust of wind made him wary. Even so he moves inside and saw the boss room was the throne room of the king, and there the boss comes out, Igris, the knight commander. Name was written in red, and Jin-woo knew he's the strongest enemy he's about to fight. There Igris comes head-on with the speed and power that cuts through a pillar. Igris threw Jin-woo to the end, and his slashes were powerful enough to cut out the walls, and Jin-woo then tried to put up a fight, but no luck. Even if he hits Igris, Jin-woo's power gap is huge, and also that annoying armor is impossible to penetrate, so he decided to go bare hands, and seeing that, Igris threw out his own weapons to keep the fight equal. Even as a boss he was a noble knight, but while Jin-woo got his hands full, Jin-ho was having dinner with his father and there his smug-looking brother came out. He just lost his appetite seeing his brother. And his father asked Jin-sung about his scouting of S-rank hunter for their guild. So far no S-rank hunter accepted Jin-sung's offer, but he has connections over European and Middle Eastern countries, so they would get their S-rank hunter soon. But Jin-sung warned Jin-ho to stay put as he was trying to make a guild for himself. He warned Jin-ho, but the Jin-ho knew he would win in the end, because he has Jin-woo on his side, and aside from him, Jinchul comes in to check up on his boss, and right then, Choi Jong-in called Gun-hee to thank him for giving him permission to explore Jeju Island. But even for that, Choi Jong-in had to gather the finest S-rank hunter of his guild just to gather the intelligence of the monsters residing there, and in the meantime, Igris shattered Jin-woo even in a hand-to-hand fight, fast and power combined, and Jin-woo barely blocks his attacks. Luckily he had that gear on or his hands were goner. Power level was way off the charts, so Jin-woo invested in speed to throw off Igris, and somehow he puts up a fight. But even so, Igris was thrashing Jin-woo while the fight was getting more intense. There he found out Igris had a weak spot on his neck, and Igris took that hit too personally, and beats Jin-woo like a punching bag. Jin-woo was clearly on the losing side as it looked like he was barely holding on to his life. So Igris wanted to finish the job, but Jin-woo was faking his struggle with an act and comes back in the game and stabbed Igris on his eye. That gave him an opening, and Jin-woo took Igris to a corner and stabbed him multiple times on the neck, to finally defeat him. But Jin-woo clearly knew it was just a stroke of his luck that Igris fell for his trick, but all in all, that gives him a loot of gold as a reward for taking down Igris, and he even got his helmet, but for some reason teleportation stone couldn't get inside his inventory, and there another high-class quest comes out, that is to survive as long as he could. Wave after wave comes out of the portal, and even after beating a lot of them, there was no end to it, so Jin-woo used the stealth skill to hide out, but the mages saw through it and exposed him. Even after fighting like a crazy dog, only 5 minutes have passed, so as he tried to use teleportation stone, an attack caused him to lose his grip, and now the end of him was near, but his sister, Jin-ah, had made his dinner for him, and his ill mother was still at the hospital. His family was waiting for him, so what will be his fate? Find out in the final episode of this anime. Until then, watch the previous 10 episodes of Solo Leveling in the playlist section of my channel. Until then, take care.